So you wanna go to war with me? You're talking like you think you're royalty. You think that I'm afraid, but I don't break. I heard you question my stability. You think I'll fall just like a guillotine, but I am here to stay. Won't look away. Storm is coming, so you better start running. No, you can't control it in my bones. I'm coming for it, coming for it. I'm coming for the throne. I'm coming for the throne. So you wanna be my enemy? You should've known I never kissed the rain. Ice runs in my veins, won't play it safe. I don't belong with your nobility. Who died and made you king of anything? You think that I'm insane? It's your mistake. King on the rise and fall. I come to take it all. I take it. I come to take it. King on the rise and fall. I come to take it all. I'll take it all. Storm's coming, so you better start running. No, you can't control it in my bones. I'm coming for it, coming for it. I'm coming for the throne. I'm coming for the throne.
Let's go. Yo, I'm like an addict, do I gotta have it. I ain't even playing, got a really bad habit. If it moves, gotta grab it. Fuse like a magnet, lose, won't have it till I'm doomed in a casket. I ain't playing, got a weird mind. If you work 8 hours, I'ma work 9. If the shit tastes sour, you should taste mine. I'ma stay in power for a long time. Get up, nah, I ain't a quitter. Toss me the ball, I'm a really big hitter. Big picture, I'm a straight killer. Rising the song to the highest bidder. Got juice, got gas, I'ma move fast. New shoes, new tracks, like who's that? I'm new, come back, better than last. Yeah, it's a new me, never gonna look back. Never gonna look back. Damn, I was built to last. You move slow and I move fast, and that's facts. Only I can make a change. Slowly take a step today. I will never be the same, 'cause that's what it takes.
All right, guys, happy Wednesday, January 21st. What is up? Anya, suntanned, SR Scott. How you doing, Scott? Let me move this desk up a little bit. Rebel says, don't go to HEB. Crazy out there. Trader Joe's empty. Yeah, if you guys follow me on Twitter or the community tab, I think I posted it in Discord too. I posted a photo yesterday of folks in line at HEB on a Tuesday. We're not expecting snow and ice till Saturday night, but the lines were like, you'd think you wouldn't be able to get provisions for a month. The lines were crazy, and that's why I try to stock things up, especially essentials. I'll order them in bulk on Amazon and have whatever we need for months, and then as soon as that starts getting a little bit deprecated, then we'll order a new batch so that we don't have these mad rushes to how society is these days. A lot of people procrastinate and then they panic, and I don't want no part of that. All right, tonight we're going to talk about GameStop again. Boy, I tell you what, if you thought I was bullish over the last couple months, I've been buying GameStop. You guys know, if you've been tuning in here and not listening to all the nee liars out there, I've been buying GameStop for the past several months between $20 and $21 on a re-entry after selling in that run up when it went to 33, 35. I sold, waited for it to come back down. I've been rebuilding a position. I also have some warrants. I don't have any options. Don't plan on buying any options. I have warrants. That's good enough. Yesterday we talked about CEO Ryan Cohen and board member Alan Attal buying shares of GameStop. We love insider buys on just about every company out there. There's some we don't trust. GameStop is not one of them. We love insider buys. It displays confidence. These people are putting up their own money. Almost $11 million yesterday for Ryan Cohen buying 500,000 shares. Today, they doubled down. They doubled down. Ryan Cohen dropped in the news in an after-hours filing that he bought another 500,000 shares today. We'll get into the filing in just a minute. And then, boom, right after that, Alan Attal, also a new filing that he bought 12,000 more shares. We'll go through the share count, how they calculate their percentage ownership. There were some good questions in the chat earlier on comments. How does he calculate his share count? He's got, including beneficial ownership of warrants, 9.3% ownership in GameStop. And, the week is still young. We still have Thursday and Friday. I don't know about you guys. I saw some people that were, the bears. They were not very happy that Ryan Cohen bought yesterday. I imagine they really aren't happy today. They certainly weren't happy that I talked about a news article. It always cracks me up in any ticker when you talk about company news, people get mad at you. I'm reporting on a filing, talking about it on YouTube because we like to hang out. My coverage of a stock is not an inducement for any of you to buy it. Always do your own DD. I will tell you what I'm doing. But don't copy people's trades. Do your own DD. I don't know your portfolio size, your risk tolerance, or your personal situation. So you have to make your own choices and be responsible for your own outcomes. And whether we like a stock or don't like a stock, you're always welcome here as long as you can conversate like an adult. If you have an opinion that doesn't agree with me, perfectly fine. Just be able to talk like an adult. We have one simple rule. This is the channel for the adults in the room. We're not going to be dancing around in clown costumes on here. Hazel Allen says, Ryan Cohen did it again. Let's go GameStop. Rebleep says, fully erect. Another back-to-back buy. What CEO has done that? Wait till you see note number 4 in today's filing. I didn't read note number 4 yesterday. I don't know if it was there yesterday, but I read it today. And we're going to get to that in just a second when I get caught up on the comments. Human Made says, do you think $22 will hold? I was just lucky to get a call on them before the close. Good luck on your call options. I don't have any options. I have warrants, but you know, I would love to see you make some money on those. What I said yesterday is when I was looking at this stock over the weekend and thinking about doing, you know, my TA Hocus Pocus video, I really couldn't tell by looking at the chart over the weekend which way it was going to go next. It was literally, in my mind, a coin toss. And I feel like we're just this ship bobbing along on the ocean waiting for some news. And the only real news that I know about that is coming is Q4 earnings. And we got this store closure thing going on. So I didn't make the video because what's the point of making a video where you've seen those videos, right? It could go up or it could go down. I don't like to, I like to at least have a theory, and I couldn't come up with a compelling one on Sunday or Monday to tell you with any confidence what I thought was going to happen. But we get this news yesterday and then a follow-up today. What I said yesterday is I don't know, you know, they might try and manipulate it down, you know what I mean. They might try and short it. There might be people selling into any push up. I don't know. But in my mind, the way I'm viewing this, it is bullish and it helps cement a psychological floor in the investor base. Is that his intention? Is he just trying to mind fuck us all? I don't think so. I mean, you don't just plunk down $11 million and then another $11 million to mind fuck your investors. You don't. So this is how I'm viewing it. I think Ryan Cohen, you know, proposing the compensation plan, which we'll all get to vote on at some point in March or April. I think he has a plan, and I get it. There are people that don't like Ryan Cohen. That's fine. You don't like him because he likes Trump. Seems like a dumb reason not to like somebody. But there are people that hate him. They've created whole subreddit groups about GameStop because Ryan Cohen likes Trump. Therefore, anything that he does, they don't like. It seems odd to me. Like, I try not to make my investment decisions based on politics. And I've been very critical of GameStop's financials when it was appropriate. You guys know that. I'm not a buy and hold forever GameStop. I'm not a buy at any price GameStop investor. I'm a swing trader looking for reasonable, risk-free, to the extent we can get them, entries, and then selling into moves up. We're entering a new phase, as I've been telling you guys for a couple months. We have entered a new phase where the price is stabilized around a $8.8 billion cash hoard, and the company turning profitable. Even though it's small profits, it's still profitable. They're closing stores. Yes, we got to deal with the negativity of revenue falling. I'm not going to shy away from that. That's not a great thing, but it is my belief that margins will improve if they are choosing the correct stores to close. Hopefully over the next 2 quarters, we find out that margins improve. We might not see it in Q4. Cheers, everybody. I'm going to pour a little drinky drink here. The headache's gone from yesterday. But, you know, it's midweek, and why not? One drink just to hang out with you guys. Pour your own. Make it top shelf. Send the bill to my secretary. What was I saying? There's a floor. The company, the company, it's in a new phase. And you either believe in Ryan Cohen that he has good intentions, or you don't. And it doesn't matter to me what you think. You could have an opposite opinion of me, and we could still be friends as long as you can conversate like an adult. It's okay. I believe he has good intentions, but I also manage my risk and I have a trading plan for better or worse. This is not my only investment. I'm not the largest GameStop investor out there. I don't want to be. It's one trade in a portfolio. And the riskier that I assess it to be, the smaller my position will be relative to the overall portfolio. That's how I trade. You can do whatever you want. Cheers. Dink in the house. What's up, Dink? Love Star says he's going to buy more tomorrow. That would be so beautiful. Anya was asking earlier in the Discord, how did he manage to pull off buying 500,000 shares without moving the price? There are, look, I don't know exactly what he did, but there are orders that sophisticated traders can submit. It's called an iceberg order, where you just submit this overriding order that says, I want to buy 500 shares at a maximum of X price. And it'll put 10,000 share bid out there at that price. And when it gets snapped up, the next 10,000 pops right up onto the bid. And nobody can ever see the size of your order, to my knowledge, to my understanding of how iceberg orders work. And so, yeah, it's very easy if the stock is trading flat, that he's just chipping away at it throughout the day until that entire order is completed. Why do they call it an iceberg order? Because the bulk of the order is not visible to anybody. As pieces of it the orders get completed, the next batch pops up. I mean, that's one way that he could have done it. He could have, if you can find well, we know from yesterday he was buying in a range, so he's not just buying them all in one or 5 minute candle. Now, I'm seeing already this nonsense talk. Oh, just wait till the FTDs 35 days from now. Come on, we're better than that by now. We're better than that by now. There's not going to be any FTD nonsense. Somebody sold him the shares. He's got the shares. Someone didn't want them. Here we go. It's not going to be any FTD problem. Don't be banking your trades on that. Let's talk about the things that are really bullish. What could we be bullish about? What should we be worried about? We'll talk about that, but we're not going to talk about the nonsense FTD stuff. Human Maid says, what do you think about Michael Burry wants to tell us about GameStop? I saw he has been tweeting. I posted it in Discord earlier today. His part 2 is close to ready. Wouldn't it be a grand coup de grace to finish this bearish, finish off the bears, if Michael Burry were to say, I like what I see, I'm going long, or I have a long position? I don't know what he's going to say. He might just be rehashing stories from years ago and has nothing new to say. I don't know. I'm not going to spin you guys up on what could be, because I don't know what it could be. It could be good or it could be bad. But I am curious, just like you guys. Keith says he caught the NAM massive run up today, NAMM. I thought, damn, Tony would say take some profits. I love it that I'm in the back of your head, being that little nagging voice. Take a little bit off. Don't be greedy. It's okay to let some run, but take a little bit off. Always be taking profits. Love Star says closing stores is bullish in my opinion. I love the Bears' response to that statement. Well, why don't they just close them all? Well, maybe he will. Maybe he will close them all. We don't know. I don't know. He's been on a hell of a trajectory, scorched earth, to close stores. And we talked about this a couple years ago when I had Markets with May on, about GameStop perhaps becoming some sort of shell company. That's entirely possible. They could close all the stores over the next several years, or they could just hunker down at 500 or 1,000. I don't know. Doesn't really matter to me at this point. The brick and mortar business is not my thesis, never has been. of why I'm buying GameStop. You guys know, if you've been paying attention to me for the last 3 or 4 years, I'm not a fan in general of brick and mortar outfits that have to keep up with inventory. That's just kind of like a general rule that I have. Why? I don't know. Look at every major company out there that's gone bankrupt that were brick and mortar heavy inventory outfits. Even the ones that are really, really good are doing it on volume and very thin margins. The Costco's and the Walmarts. So, and maybe those would be ones I would invest in. I have invested in both from time to time. But in general, my thesis of why I'm long GameStop has nothing to do with the brick and mortar business, although that gives me comfort that the margins are improving. It's been a long slog to get here to where the company is profitable, and Ryan Cohen has no sacred cows. He will throw everything overboard to achieve his goals. Once, as a management team, you get out of the hair on fire mode, you're not bleeding cash every quarter. Once that pivot happens, which it has, it appears to be based on the last several quarters and Ryan Cohen's comments, then you can sit back a little bit more comfortably and use your strategy brain to figure out where to spend $9 billion. That is what I am here for. How it will turn out in the next 1, 2, 5, 10 years, I don't know. But I want to, as long as there's no horrible news relative to this company, I will add some shares when it is cheap and wait for either the company to drop some news or Roaring Kitty to come back. It doesn't matter to me. This is a volatile stock. It's a speculative stock. But it's volatile, and I like to have a couple of volatility plays in my portfolio just for fun. Closing stores, if you're improving margins, Love Stars, in my opinion, is not only the right thing to do, but it is bullish. We will have to contend with Wall Street pushing the message. It's a message I've pushed. Declining revenues is not a bullish signal. You can soften the blow by improving margins. So I think those things are likely to cancel each other out in investors' minds. Yeah, I get it. Wall Street loves a growing revenue and growing earnings story. I get it. I know. I talk about it all the time. And we're still in the declining revenue bucket. But there's other things going on here. This is not your brick and mortar company in a death spiral situation. Highly liquid, highly solvent balance sheet. Plenty of optionality. There's no risk of bankruptcy. It's just sit back and wait. And my only strategy is, if I'm going to be waiting, I'm going to manage the size of my position to what I'm comfortable sitting on and make sure I get the cheapest entry possible so I'm not fussing and bitching and complaining. Are y'all on board with that? Anybody okay with that? Anybody not like that plan? Here was Ryan Cohen's filing yesterday, January 20th. We have the second one today, January 21st. We'll open those up in a second. And then if you're on sec.gov/Edgar, you can go to the ownership disclosures and you can see Alan Atall's filing yesterday and today. This was Alan Attall yesterday with his 12,000 shares bought at $20.89. He had 584,000 shares. Today's filing, he bought at $21.63. Now he has 596,000. So went from 584 to 596. Some of y'all were questioning, is this just a repeat, a mistake? No, these are new filings, new dates, new prices. The amounts are the same. It would have been cool if they did like 12,001 just to remove any doubt from the doubting Thomases. But you can look at the date, you can look at the prices, you can look at the amount that they own beneficially following the reported transactions. Ryan Cohen yesterday had 41.5 million shares of beneficial ownership, including his warrants, which was 9.2%. Let's look at note item. There is no item 4 here yesterday. All right, so it'll be more fun to look at it on today's filing. So yesterday it was 41.58 million, 9.2%. Today he bought another 500,000 down here in item 5, 500,000 shares at a weighted average of 2160 in multiple transactions, ranging from 2154 to 2161. That gives him now 9.3% ownership, up from yesterday's 9.2. Every 500,000 shares is about 1.1% of the shares outstanding, maybe 1%. It's about 0.11% of the shares outstanding. If you add the warrants in, it's maybe 0.1 instead of 0.11. Anyways, he went up 0.1%. Now at 42,082. For yesterday, it was 41,582. So if there's any doubt if it was a duplicate or not, no. We have a new share count. Now, someone was asking, and it's a good question, why does he only own 3.7 million warrants? Because at the time that the warrants were issued, he owned roughly 37.3 million shares. And so he got one warrant for every 10 shares, just like all of the rest of us. And then it says down further in here that the calculation of his percentage of class, his percentage of ownership, includes the warrants. So if we roughly say he had 38 million before the warrants and including his 1 million of purchases, and he's got roughly 4 million warrants, then we get to this 42 million. So the 42 million includes his warrants, because were he to exercise them, he would get the shares. He could exercise them at any time. So when you're filing these filings, you include anything that you have beneficial ownership of as if they were already exercised. So hopefully that makes sense why the number of warrants is so low relative to the number of shares. His actual physical shares are 3.7 million lower than this until such point that he does something with the warrants. Dink says those are rookie numbers. I mean, man, I don't know how you could be bearish when you got CEOs plunking down $11 million 2 days in a row. Let's look at this item number 4, though. This is high to the hilarious. It says, item number 4, the reporting person, Ryan Cohen, believes that it is essential for the chief executive officer of any public company to purchase shares of such company in the open market with his or her own personal funds in order to further strengthen alignment with stockholders. The reporting person, Ryan Cohen, believes that any chief executive officer who fails to do so should be fired. I mean, Ryan's shooting his shots, man. He's shooting his shots. Clear the decks. Ryan's taking aim at everybody. Taking aim at everybody, man. Oh, you're saying Alan Atall's 12,000 shares are rookie numbers. Well, I mean, Alan Atall is probably not a billionaire. I don't know. I haven't looked into his finances. What do y'all think about this? Coming from the corporate world myself, and I was heavily compensated in non-qualified stock options. I can tell you that, when you are earning a salary, I had a six-figure salary. I had bonuses. I had non-qualified stock option incentive plan. When your company is doing well and those stock options are growing in value, you are highly motivated, even if the company is gifting you the shares, You're highly motivated to see the company succeed. So in general, on Wall Street and in corporate America, I'm okay with executives being comped in shares. I'm not so okay with them being comped with cash bonuses if the company is losing money and investors are being bled out through dilution. I'd prefer to see no cash bonuses. I get it. You got to make a nominal salary to pay your mortgage, but share alignment in one way or another does align executives with shareholders, whether it's company given or all right, looks like we're back. Are we back? Come on, Google. I didn't pay all that money for that Google Fiber 10 gig or whatever the hell they upgraded me to have these kind of nonsense bullshit. Internet blinks out. All right, we're back. Anyways, what I was saying is, does anybody disagree? It's one thing to be compensated with shares when the company's giving it to you, but it's a whole nother level of gut check when you're putting your own money on the line. And at that point, you know, when I was working in the corporate world for those 15 years, I was also putting my own company money, my own personal money on the line with the ESPP. I had it fully maxed out, my ESPP. Employee stock purchase plan. So I was raking it in from multiple directions. But as that company grew and as the price skyrocketed, I would sell some of it and responsibly diversify my funds. I didn't want to ever be in a situation where my entire life is dependent on one company, not only for job options, ESPP. It's very concentrated company specific risk that I was not willing to take. So from time to time, when it made sense, I would exercise some options. I'd sell some shares. I'd move the funds into other investments, be it real estate, ETFs, mutual funds, maybe back then, or other stocks. Ryan Cohen believes that any CEO who fails to do so should be fired. Do you think he's calling out any CEO in particular? I'm just wondering. Anya says Vanguard is the largest institutional holder of GameStop, then BlackRock. Look, these Susquehanna, Vanguard, BlackRock, they're the largest institutional holders of just about everybody. Anya, when we look at 13 Fs, and then if we drill down into the NP, the import filings, what you'll find is that almost all of those shares are in passively managed ETFs. Sometimes a Vanguard or a Susquehanna or a BlackRock will have an active position, but in the vast majority, these companies are Vanguard might have 10 ETFs, of which GameStop is included. And they file an import filing for each one, but then it rolls up into 113F, which makes them look like a huge holder. But they're just managing passively the percentage of GameStop in that ETF. And they will buy or sell every day to maintain whatever allocation that they had designated for GameStop, probably relative to where it is in the index that the ETF is tracking. So you see often a lot of people, oh, look, Vanguard took a big position, Susquehanna, BlackRock, mostly passive. There's no active decision making going on there. And you can double check everything I just said. You go to Fintel or go research what import filings are. Drill down on Vanguard. You'll see not only the 13F, but the import N, as in November, PORT, the import filings for each ETF. And they will generally add up to very close to the total that if you take 10 imports that belong to Vanguard and add them up, that will be very close to your total of what is reported on the 13F. Anya says, no need to fact check you. Well, I mean, I don't want you guys to trust me blindly, but if I don't know something, I try not to talk about it. I'll just say I don't know. And there's many things I've dug into that I didn't need to know for the last 30 years, but have become fascinating little niches of knowledge that help us in multiple different tickers, not only to understand what's going on, to get an edge on other people that don't understand what's going on because they're caught up in all the social media hype nonsense instead of trying to really understand what's going on. But it helps you predict what is likely to happen too. When you can separate from the nonsense based on actual applied learning, it improves your trading so much. Dink says passive investment should have no voting rights. I mean, they're still a majority shareholder, Dink. I don't know that we could if we could rob them of their shareholder rights just because it's a passive investment. They own the shares fair and square. GameStop in after hours today traded up another $1 from where it was yesterday in after hours. Yesterday it ran up to $21.97, a peak for a minute of $22.15. It traded flat around that range all day today, but based on today's insider filings, up another $1 in after hours, $22.80. Since my cost basis is around between 20 and 21 bucks, this gives me a little breathing room. I'd prefer to be more in the green than barely in the green, you know what I mean? And hopefully we have more good news to come. I don't offer you any guarantees. You know why I am bullish on this play? Because I'm waiting to hear some news that they are going to do something meaningful with the cash. That might take 2, 3, 4, 5 years to pan out. So, but I'd take a Michael Burry bullish post, or I'd take a Roaring Kitty saying, you know what, Ryan, you made me a believer again. Cheers. I'd love for Roaring Kitty to come back and say he's a believer again. Like that little spot volatility, that excitement that somebody like that could add into it. Hey, I'm here for that if it happens. If not, we just coast comfortably. GameStop's going to do fine. The only thing I'm really worried about, if I were to worry about anything, is market risk, economic risk, political risk. Things that are not really related to GameStop. Everything's going to get hammered by those, and nothing I can do about that on any ticker I own. Speaking of tickers, have you guys looked at Intel lately? I hear someone say every day, one of the guys covering Railtown, he says every day he wants you to only buy Railtown, sell everything, and buy this pre-revenue penny stock. And don't listen to Tony Denaro talking to you about diversification and risk management, blah, blah, blah. Because what trade has he ever given you? I'm just going to throw this out there. Look, I don't talk about every ticker every day. A lot of these tickers aren't everyday talk tickers. I'm pretty sure I did at least one video back in 2024 on Intel. I know we've talked about it on live streams because I remember talking with Korax about it, and he's like, oh, I don't know about that. Here's my buy back in August of 2024. I told Discord about it. $19.23. We're looking for growth stocks of relatively healthy companies. We don't want everything in our portfolio to be failing companies where we're on a wing and a prayer. I mean, those are fun. I trade them too, but I don't want them to be the foundation of my portfolio. I'm looking for intelligent blue chip type plays that are out of favor. And we identified this one as being out of favor after this collapse right here. I bought in at 2067 and 1923. Now, not even A year and a half later, $54. Tony never gives you any good plays. You're just not paying attention if you're saying dumb shit like that. And it's funny because the people that are saying stuff like that promoted GTII, MMTLP, BBBY, and G-Bucks. I mean, every company you can imagine that's bankrupt or on their way to bankruptcy. You got the nerve to say, I haven't given out some good plays. I just don't talk about them every day. There's no need to. These are fire and forget. It's 2 to 5 year investment. We do a lot of work up front to identify them so you can make a diversified portfolio in different sectors, different tickers, and then just sit back. We're just trying to beat the indexes. If we can. AMC, $1.61. It was up today, $2.55. I do not own any AMC. I have not owned it since November of 2024. I'm waiting for a couple of corporate actions to play out. If you are new to my channel, you're all caught up now of what we've been talking about for the last 13 months. The next thing that I'm watching for is an 8K on the exchangeable notes and a prospectus on a ATM that I'm expecting in February. Once those two bits of news are out, then I will start trying to identify, do I have a reasonable entry if the price comes down based on what I'm expecting we're going to get on the updated filings, similar to, when we entered this play for a swing trade in March of 2024 or whatever it was, before that May run up. I like to come in some of these plays after the dilution is done and people are just beaten down. The price has no support. You want people like us to come in with liquidity and buy then, because that's what sets the stage for the next rally, unless the company has more corporate actions. But AMC is hamstrung from doing further ATMs for 180 days, except for the one that's coming up on February 2nd. Chris says, anytime people think there is bullish news, from my experience, you can expect some downside pressure. They hype you up with news, then demoralize you for adding more. Yeah, we see it a lot, Chris. I try and resist that temptation to buy just on news, but sometimes you got to. And yeah, it sucks when you buy on news and then the price gets walked down right after you buy in. It happens. That's why I try and set up these zones. And sometimes I wait a long time, a year or more, when excitement fades, or I can come in and pick the company up cheap. Sometimes, like Palantir, there's no looking back. If you didn't get on board, you were too late. ONDS is another one, that I think has Palantir-like potential to really grow over the next 3 years. If you get a reasonable entry, I'd prefer to buy between like $7.25 and $7.75, $8. I have no idea if it'll go down that low. There's been a lot of excitement in this ticker over the last couple weeks. It's ran up from 53 cents to $15. But if you have been paying attention to any coverage on this channel or the investor day that they had last week, videos on my YouTube channel, you know what they are targeting, what guidance they gave for revenue and earnings over the next 3 years. We had 6 analysts upgrade their price target on this stock. They're all higher than the current price. I mean, it's a pretty good story. I think you should look into this company. I'm not saying you should be buying it at $12.55. That's your choice. Where to buy. I've identified what I like for a demand and supply zone. But it may never come back down here. If it does, I'd love to add in higher share count down here. There goes the cat. Hycroft today, well, it ended up, down 7.5%, 39.57. It reached a high in pre-market of 48.52. That means AMC was up $38 million in pre-market today. Are we going to find out that AMC took off a little more profits by exercising some options? I don't know, but they've more than doubled their money on their initial investment now. If we factor in the current value of the warrants, I don't know how you call this a bad deal for Hycroft investors that got in the last year at $1.60, $2, $2.50. I don't know how you call it a bad deal for AMC. And we will wait and see what happens when Hycroft announces their resource update, and then later here in Q1, the technical report. But I love to see this. Silver and gold came down a little bit today as the news of Trump invading Greenland kind of faded. Invading, taking over, whatever. So silver and gold prices came down a little bit due to that. There's plenty of people that think silver and gold are going much higher, and I am still long my SLV. Webull is another stock we've been talking about, another 2 to 5 year investment. Don't be surprised to see a tweet from me in 2 or 3 years saying, remember when I told you about Webull at $7? It is speculative. I mean, Wall Street has not caught on to this story yet. 806 was my first buy. I went in a little larger at 781. And my next kind of like target buy-in zone, it keeps flirting with it, is around 725, 735, hoping that we don't break below this demand zone. We will see. We will see. But this is another one of those for me. This company, in my opinion, is not going anywhere by my best DD, and therefore I'm going to slowly accumulate it when I can get it at rock bottom prices. If rock bottom ends up being below the demand zone, well, we will address that when it happens. I can't predict the future with absolute certainty, but we got a pretty good support level forming here since November. Zachary says, I wish Adam Aaron would buy over 10,000 for the it's over 9,000 meme. I know what you're talking about, Zachary. Someone commented in my comments earlier today, why isn't AMC ever buying shares? I mean, you guys hopefully have been reading the 10 Qs and the risk factors of every company you're invested in. It's something I commonly recommend you do in every ticker. It makes pumpers really mad in every single ticker when I suggest to you to read the risk factors. This is the company's disclosure. It's legal requirement to tell you things that they are concerned about that you ought to know about. And for every quarter since 2020, the company's been putting in big, bold letters, if you choose to invest in this stock, you're likely to lose most of your money because we're going to need to continue to sell shares to dilute, to cover liquidity shortfalls and repair the balance sheet. And in my view, just stepping back from that very slap in the face statement, but it's the company's statement. You can go read it yourself. It's been there for 5 years. People get mad. They don't want to read. They don't want to listen. When a company is telling you that, you should not expect executives to be spending their own money. They are literally telling you you're probably going to lose all your money. Why would they put their money in? I mean, that's my very pragmatic take on it. Hate it, love it, never even thought about it before, but where are you at? Let me know in the chat. All right. Keith says, what do you think about NAM, NAMM? Let's take a quick look. Keith. Look at that daily candle. Holy shit, up 130%. What the hell happened, Keith? There's not even any news. Cayman Islands, Zimbabwe mining industry, gold producer. I mean, now you got to help me out. Since there's no news, why did it run up? If this was a no news run up, I would be for fucking sure taking some profits off. If there's something that you can get behind in terms of something changed, then maybe we reassess. Let's see if it was a short squeeze candidate. That's a good question. Chart exchange, where are you? Not up there yet. Short interest, 7%. Yeah, it's not really a short squeeze candidate at all. Somebody pumped the stock today with a big buy. Cost to borrow, that's pretty high, 100%. 0 shares available. I'm not so worried about the shares available as the cost to borrow fee. Even with a low short interest of 7%, it's a hard to borrow stock. 100% fee is expensive. I mean, normal would be 1, 2, 5%, under 1%. 100% is high. Let's see what else we can glean here. The volume. I don't know if this volume was because of news. I'm waiting for Keith to clue me in, or if the day traders got a hold of this thing. But the normal daily volume is tiny. And then look at this candle here. Just ridiculous. 166 million. They normally don't even trade 100,000 shares a day. Today they traded 166 million. That's crazy. Low float, yeah. Shares outstanding, 53 million. I mean, these are the type of, when we're looking for pre-market day trade type stuff, quick in and out, we're looking for low float stocks like this that show signs in pre-market of a little bit of a bump. And in pre-market today, this one went from 99 cents to $1.20. That would have put it on some day traders' radar, the people who are up early looking for these trades. And the more these things move up, the more they're going to try and trade it. And then you get that very high share turnover throughout the day. And it looks like ridiculous volume, and people will be screaming about, oh, the FTDs, where'd they get the shares? It's just day traders flipping it in and out, millions of shares in a couple seconds. Very common. You don't ever see any of these day trader channels that do this in big numbers. You don't see them complaining about share turnover or where are they getting the shares from. They know exactly where they're coming from. They're coming from other sellers or people, other sellers. And they are looking for high volatility, high volume, low float stocks. This is where the day traders live, and you should expect high share turnover. And then Ross dumps on his member. Mark, you know exactly where I'm going here. It cracks me up. The people who posture themselves on social media as market mechanic experts, the conspiracy theorists. How this company only had 53 million. It's impossible they could trade 166 million shares. Tell me you've never talked to a day trader before without saying it? Oh, well, you did say it because you opened your mouth and blabbed some bullshit on Twitter. That's funny. Funny stuff. So did Keith low float? That's all you got? No news, huh? I mean, the run didn't fade till the end of the day. It held pretty good in after hours. I have seen where sometimes these plays have a day two. But for sure, if I was day trading this, would have been taking off profits or been completely out before the end of the day. When they start coming down, that's when, my mental stop loss is, all right, it's turning. Don't give it all back, Tony. You've all seen them, just like me, where they start coming down and then boop, you get the demon candle, the red candle from hell. And the whole ticker fades in one candle. I don't want to ever get caught by that. So if I start getting a little nervous, I will take some or all of it off. And I think even Ross does that, And then when it reconsolidates and if it shows new life, you can enter back in. You had 3 opportunities, boom, 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 to ride this thing up on separate trades for day traders. C12 says, I really don't get Roaring Kitty and his brother Kevin, a.k.a. Barking Puppy. I know a lot of people are promoting Barking Puppy and his movie reviews or whatever the hell he's doing. I don't watch him. It's fine if they want to promote him. I think he's just trying to capitalize and build a social media presence, which, hey, who am I to judge on that, right? Who am I to judge? Let him do his thing. And if people find him entertaining, then let him do his thing. But I don't think he's giving us any secret coded messages about GameStop any more than I thought that Ryan Cohen's children's books were a secret codex to Bed Bath & Beyond. It's just nonsense, hopium bullshit. I am curious about that Treehouse Brewing, though. Remember the one that Keith had the beer on the most recent live stream? And they keep on... The clues are just way beyond obvious. Is Keith Gill an investor in that brewery? Is he a part owner? Is he a friend of the owner? I think there's something there. I don't think that they are giving us any coded messages in their marketing, but I think they are capitalizing on people thinking that Roaring Kitty is giving you messages. And I would order their product and try it, but you can't ship it as far as I know. Keith says 100%. I've seen the demon candle. I took some profits. Good job. Someone asked Michael, he said, you today. I told you about you last night and the low float. Only shareholder shares could be the only shares that could be bought with low float. Let's take a look. You. I had an Iranian guy. He was an engineer that worked for us in the tech company I worked for, and he was hilarious. His name was Fred. And when he got mad, he would, you. And that was his way of saying, shut the fuck up. I don't know if that's a common phrase in Persian, but that stuck with me now for 35 years. Good old Fred. 469 on you. Universal Safety Products. Distributor of safety and security devices intends to import and market its product lines other than smoke alarms and carbon monoxide alarms. Director makes bold new bet on Universal Security. Director Milton Alt. Is he related to Todd Alt? Somebody do some DD. Find out right now if Milton Alt, A-U-L-T, is related to Todd Alt. Increased his stake by purchasing 95,000 shares in a single transaction valued at $570,000. Todd Alt is heavily involved in the Mullen scam. Allegedly. You. Wait, Anya says they're the same person? Are you kidding me, Anya? No, it's Milton C. Alt. How can that be Todd Alt? It says Milton C. Alt. You've reached your limit. Fuck you. Well, I know what he looks like. Let's see. Milton Todd Alt. I would run away from anything he is involved in. Milton C. Alt is vice chairman of the board at ALZN. Past roles, Alt and Company, Micaiah Holdings, Avalanche International, Alt Disruptive Technologies. External roles, Risk On, yeah, that's the same fucking guy. Run away, in my opinion. That dude's bad news. I've talked to him on the phone. Maybe it was one of his lackeys. They wanted me to come to one of their shows. I did not get a good feeling. I did not go. Talked to them several times. And then I've been watching him very closely since that day. Have not seen anything that I could tell you was redeeming or good in his business transactions in terms of how they affect the retail shareholder. Michael says, couldn't be that. He went to jail. Anya, can you check on that? If it's the same guy, I mean, do your own DD. I don't want to throw Milton C. under the bus if it's not Todd. But I know, in my opinion, I don't have a high opinion of Todd. Wish I could say otherwise, but in his conversations with me, his team, they were not forthright. They were not upfront. They tried to change terms, spring things on us. And then I watched how his involvement with Mullen just absolutely crushed retail investors. Jersey Recycler, that is interesting. Baby says, supersize me. Ryan Cohen told the market makers today, supersize my order. He told his Schwab or TD Ameritrade, whoever he's got. Debo says, is GameStop about to squeeze? Let's take a look and maybe we can wrap up here. Box office? No, we don't care about box office. What happened to our chart exchange? Did I close it? I don't think the short interest isn't high enough for GameStop to squeeze Debo, in my opinion. But I'd take any catalyst you can give me that causes some short covering and some FOMO. Sure, Roaring Kitty comes back. Ryan Cohen keeps buying 500,000 a day. GameStop announces some further development of the PSA or power packs. I would take any of that. There is significant short interest, but it's mostly owned by the bondholders. So short interest on GameStop is 16%. The vast majority of that is owned by, in my opinion, my DD. I already shared this with you guys a long time ago. You can go look at where the short interest stepped up as the bonds were offered. And you saw the price crater as the bond holders took out their ARB position by going short the stock. They really don't have any fear of being short. And the higher the price goes, the more they will hedge the bond, the more they will go short, the higher the price goes. That's not a negative bet on GameStop, and they're not really worried about it because they have guaranteed delivery of shares from GameStop if they convert the bond. So you have to use your common sense hat, not the social media pumper channel hat, where they'll tell you that all of this short interest is people betting against GameStop. Look, I've talked to a lot of bond traders. I've looked at many other tickers. That social media story is not sensical. It's not logical. It defies the norms of bond arbitrage. It is very normal, very sensible, very logical. You do your own DD. Fact check me. Look at Cinemark too. Look at MSTR. It is look at any of the bond traders covering MSTR. Very common for bond arb traders to go short the common, and they really don't have any concern. They're constantly adjusting their hedge. They're constantly adjusting the short position depending on what the share price is doing. And they might not be too happy if there were a rapid blow up in the price in one day, because then they have to more rapidly fix the hedge that they had in place. But in general, they want volatility. They want the price to move up or down. They don't care. Just don't get stuck. And I think about that. I think about that, maybe as, could there be some secondary reason that Ryan Cohen is buying? Is he trying to re-inject some volatility into the stock because that helps his bond holders? I mean, that's a very tinfoil conspiracy out there theory, but it's in the world of multiverse theories. It is one possible one. I know you'd have to say, oh, Ryan's working with the bond traders. Well, I mean, a lot of people think CEOs work with the lenders, right? Have you heard that in any other ticker? That CEO is just working for the lenders. What do the lenders of GameStop want? They're not getting 0%. They're not getting interest. They're getting 0%. They want volatility. Do you think maybe they applied some pressure on Ryan? Hey, you need to up the game here. We can't. We're going to put these bonds back to you if you don't get some volatility injected in here. The lenders can put the bonds back to GameStop early, right? They can force GameStop to buy the bonds back early. Early being 2028. It's not like it's going to happen tomorrow, but they want volatility. He is a big, heavy-set man. Todd Alt is, Michael. Yes. I did Google his picture. It looked like Todd to me. I'm confused by the name. Maybe they're brothers. Maybe the same guy. Maybe they're brothers and they both work for different companies. But He had a podcast and a YouTube show called Risk On. Who owns Alt Alliance? It says Milton C. Alt, also known as Todd Alt. Well, there you go, is the founder and principal. Yeah. I'm sorry. I mean, whatever ticker we were talking about, I would not touch that myself with a 10-foot pole. No. I always tell you guys, you must believe in management to invest in a company. You must at least think they're competent at doing their job. You don't have to love them. You don't have to worship them, but you must think they're competent. And if I don't trust somebody, I don't care what company it is, I'm not going to invest in it. All the people mad at David Michery, but they still held their Mullen and doubled down. Why? You don't like David Mullen. What the fuck are you doing? Why would you own a stock where you don't trust the CEO? And by extension, I'd say the same thing to all of the Popcorn Project people mad at Adam Aron that still claim, I don't even know if I believe them, but they claim they still own AMC. Why? If you don't trust the leader, why the fuck would you own the stock? I don't have any hate for Adam Aron. I think he's doing the best job he can under the circumstances of the box office. Would I like him to do more cost cutting? Would I like him to stop cash bonuses? Yeah, there's things I'd like to change, but I don't hate him. Therefore, I would consider a trade in AMC at the right point. That point is not there for me right now, but good Lord, man, if you don't like a CEO, don't invest in the company. And I don't like Todd Alt. So I don't want to hear about any stock he's involved in. All right, let's try and end this on a good note. What else can we talk about? There was some Trumpy news. I did read up on, I guess the Supreme Court is hearing arguments over his request to fire one of the Fed board members, or whatever the hell you call their position. That is going on in the background. It seems like the Supreme Court is not really on board with the administration's assertion that they have that power. I don't think the administration does have that power to fire somebody, but we'll see. And then we also have Trump tells CNBC regarding Greenland, we have a concept of a deal. Oh, that other headline down there said Trump says the Greenland framework with NATO involves mineral rights for the U.S. I don't even understand this. I thought it was about making sure we had a base and radar to detect incoming ICBMs from Russia, which I already thought that we had. So now what the hell is going on here? What the hell's going on? Trump says he reached a concept of a deal. Trump told CNBC the U.S. and European allies will work together on a golden dome and mineral rights in Greenland under a framework he reached with NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte. Is it Rutte? Root? I am Root. They're going to be involved in the Golden Dome, and they're going to be involved in mineral rights, and so are we. When asked how long the deal would last, he said forever. Well, I guess we'll wait and see what develops with that. You never know. Things change from day to day with this administration. Dink says it's just about selling new flags. Can you find us a flag manufacturer, Dink? A lot of people are going to need flags with 51 stars. Michael, yeah, I see what you're typing about you. All I can say, Google this, Michael. Todd Alt SEC charges. Fraud and manipulation, misleading disclosures, and other violations. Choose your heroes carefully, friends. Alt Alliance pays $1 million to SEC. Defendant. I mean, that's who you want to get in bed with? He's the CEO of a marketing company, yes. And he's also what I call a distressed lender. He'll make investments in companies. You'll think he's bullish. Meanwhile, he's squeezing the onion. He's collecting the profits. You are getting fucked. I've seen it. I've seen him do it in other tickers. When he invests in a company, he's not setting up the filings so that he will lose. Do you catch my drift? He's not going to lose. You could say, well, it's bullish. He invested a lot of money and the company's troubled. Therefore, he must know something. He knows that he got a deal so sweet that no matter, even if it goes into bankruptcy, he's going to come out just fine. He's going to make money all the way into the toilet. And you're going to be buying the shares. Well, we'll keep an eye on that. Let's come back to you. Maybe this will be the one that Todd surprises me on. Let's go, Todd. Make some people money. We don't want to see Michael lose. BYND, 93 cents. I still haven't had time to go in and see if there's a risk-free entry on BYND ahead of the next earnings. When is the next earnings? February 26th. I got some time. This would be another one of those fun to talk about at the bar on a Friday night. Remember that fake meat company that got absolutely wrecked from $8 down to 93 cents, and then we bought it and it went up to $3 when earnings recovered? I mean, it could be one of those, or it could be going bankrupt. I will let you know when I have time to sit down and look at it. Not high on my list. I don't own any. It's not on my recommended list. But if they turn it around after fixing their balance sheet and that reorg they did back in October, you never know. You never know. Maybe the phoenix rises out of the ashes. I have no opinion. Finger check, baby. Thank you for the reminder. Finger. Another retail momentum play. There's no redeeming financials here to talk about. The company has revenue, which is good, but they can't collect on it. Why do I know that? Because accounts receivable continues to grow at an alarming rate. I think they have, 400, 500, 600 days of sales outstanding. That is the biggest red flag of all red flags that you could ever imagine. They can't collect their revenue. Because why? Probably because the Chinese government is their customer. So what do they got to do? They got to keep coming to the till to shareholders to raise money. But they employ consultants documented in filings. We've seen the evidence to promote the stock. And so this stock has pump and dump cycles. You can see I bought it before a year ago at this dollar range. I bought some more on the 20th at $1.09. It's up 8% today, 118. I'm kind of looking like I might slowly accumulate this till March. And I'm just praying every day that they promote before dilute. Promote before announcing a reverse split. I can't tell you what's going to happen. It's going to be fascinating. But since I don't know, this is a coin toss play. I could get absolutely wrecked if they announce a reverse split or a dilution right here. We'd be obliterated. So I'm going to size my position truly in what I'm willing to wake up in the morning and see what is evaporated. It's not going to go to zero, but I could get evaporated 40% in a pre-market. But if they don't do that, I think they will need to raise money. But if they don't, if they promote the stock on social media through the usual channels, you know who I'm talking about. Bacon, Mr. Bacon. Then, you know, last time it ran from $1 to $5. That's a healthy swing trade. The intelligent investor would wait until you have confirmed momentum. But the intelligent investor last time would have got in at $1.25 to $1.40 instead of $1. And I'd like to, I'm willing, I've been following this stock long enough that I'm willing to take a little bit of extra risk buying ahead of what I think will be a pump cycle. And we'll see. I could be completely wrong. Not a stock I'm recommending. This is for advanced, highly risk tolerant, very decisive traders that know what they're doing. Anya says, why would Ryan Cohen target AA? I mean, that is an excellent question, Anya. I believe he genuinely is pissed at corporate America, and he has every right to be. There's a lot of blood-sucking leeches in the ivory towers of corporate America. They are focused on short-term gains. They're making decisions that improve short-term EBITDA or short-term earnings or short-term revenue at the expense of sacrificing the company over the long term. He's probably genuinely pissed that many companies are run that way. And that's okay if he's mad at that. I don't think he is incorrect. Michael says, which stock am I talking about? The next potential pump and dump, FNGR, finger motion. You'll hear the same old nonsense. You know, people say, Tony hates finger motion. No, I tweeted around this time frame and around the previous time frame. Around the top, I put tweets out saying, you might want to think about taking some profits off. Because why? I'm tweeting out when I'm selling. I'm not saying I sold. I'm not saying, sometimes I say I sold and wish the longest luck, but generally I'm just saying use some caution around this point because it looks like it's breaking down. Oh, he works for the shorts. You motherfuckers, I bought, I sold. I bought, I sold. And my tweets are pretty timely. That doesn't mean that I'm working for the shorts. It means that these motherfuckers telling you this thing is going to $1,000 because Alibaba, rumor has it, is buying finger motion. There is a fucking con job on social media. Rumor has it. If any tweet starts with rumor has it, you're dealing with a pump and dumper. Rumor has it. Voices in the know say pump and dump, engagement baiting fucking nonsense. But, you know, no hate from me to those people. If you can identify them and see what they are pushing on it, because they push many tickers on a regular basis. If you can get in the first day they start talking about it, many of those tickers have big runs because those people have big followings. Almost all the companies are absolute horseshit. So don't believe their price targets. If you're up 100, 200, 300, 400%, don't be a fucking pig. Take some money off. Take all of it off. if the company sucks, right? They will never talk about the financials of these companies. What will they talk about? Naked shorts. Let's put a truck out in front of the SEC. Look at the short volume. There's a bunch of bullshit that doesn't matter. Dink says, are you sure you did those in that order? When are we talking about, Dink? On finger motion? I've only traded it a few times because I'm generally waiting for the cycles. This, where I bought here, was after a dilution announcement. Rumor has it Ryan Cohen bought 1 million shares in the last 48 hours. Yep, not even a rumor, my friend. That is verifiable fact. Hazel Allen says, I'm not going through another reverse split with AMC. Last time I went from 100 shares to 10. I can't rule it out, Hazel. There's been no proposal for a reverse split. They would have to have a vote. We do know that there is very likely an ATM offering coming in February for $150 million. But as of what we know right now, there's been no vote proposed for a reverse split. But I can't rule it out. It could be in the company's future. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. There's already, I'm covering the filings that are published. If I start speculating on things that people are worried about, then they're going to say, oh, he for sure works for the Bears. I don't like to speculate on things that haven't happened, but is it a possibility? Yeah, sure. Not something that's on my short-term radar. What's on my short-term radar? The exchange of 154 million notes for 100 million shares and another 100 million shares plus coming in February for a ATM offering. So your float, I expect, is going to go up by over 200 million shares. Zachary says, and then you got to adjust your price down, right? Depending on what you think is a fair market cap or what you think the market thinks is a fair market cap. Zachary says, Tony, the biggest move would be if Ryan Cohen bought AMC for $11 million. You mean if he spent $11 million? Yeah, I don't think Ryan is going to do that. It would be entertaining. I mean, if anybody could inject some hopium into this stock, the company for sure would dilute into a run-up. But imagine if they could sell it $10, $20, $30, $40 instead of $1.60. I mean, everybody would probably not fault them for that. But from a Ryan Cohen standpoint, what's his benefit right here, buying right now? Knowing that the company is saying we are going to do everything within our power to continue to ensure adequate liquidity and repair the balance sheet. I want you to listen to that one more time and think very carefully. Same message they've been saying. This is not being negative. This is listening to what management is telling us. We are going to continue to take strong action to ensure the company has adequate liquidity and to further strengthen the balance sheet. Now, I can't make you read between the lines, but I hope you learn to read between the lines. Oh, Dink says, Tony, we're talking about working for the shorts and saying, no, I don't work for shorts. People accused me of working for shorts because when the stock was peaking at the highs and I tweeted out, might be a time to think about taking some profits, then the pumpers get really mad at me. Oh, he's working for the shorts. But you see that with me in every ticker. They always say the same nonsense. I look at the financials, I look at the filings, I look at the company, what they're trying to do. We look at the chart. And when the chart turns, I'm not saying in the whole run-up, don't buy this, don't buy this. You're dumb. No, hey, let's make our money together. But when I see it turn I'm going to at least say caution. You know, you got to learn my language. I'm not always right. I don't always call the top, but many times on these shitty stocks we do. Zachary says, still think Ryan Cohen would get a good return on his $11 million if he put it in AMC because his cost average would be low. I mean, I'm forecasting by the end of March, Zachary, we could be around $1.20. Why would Ryan buy right now at $1.60? I'm not buying. I certainly wouldn't want to see Ryan buying. I could be completely wrong. Maybe AMC's got some secret plan to inject unknown liquidity into the company in Q1. But based on my cash flow forecast and the box office we know about, I'm fully expecting a dilution event that's going to drive the price down in a couple weeks. Every day I'm on an 8K watch, 8K and prospectus watch. Not trying to scare you out of the play. I don't care how you trade. I have zero position, positive or negative on AMC. I am a long biased trader waiting for an intelligent entry. And I can read the filings and see what is likely to happen. And that we've been talking about this now for 13 months. We're at the final chapter. We're at the final fucking chapter. I never thought I would be out of this trade for 13 months, but I'm not going to sign up and watch my money get melted away. I'll just go watch some movies and buy some popcorn. Hazel says, do you go with the theory when GME goes up, so does AMC? Absolutely. We have enough evidence. Now, is it because of hedge funds or baskets of meme stocks or just parallel FOMO? I don't know. I'm not smart enough to say that I know that with 100% certainty, but I can look at correlation of large moves, outsized FOMO type moves. There's very high correlation between AMC and GameStop. In fact, in early 2024, after the early 2024, was it? Yeah, early 2024, after the end of year dilution event, the APE conversion, blah, 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 and AMC cratered in early 2024. We bought the stock. We, being many people in the Discord, we were running the wheel on it because it was high volatility, great to sell options or sell puts, cash secured puts, which enables you to buy the stock. It's not a negative bet, selling a put. We were selling puts, getting shares, and then selling covered calls, just making money off the volatility. And then Roaring Kitty came back on GameStop, and what did I do? I had covered calls sold on my entire AMC position, and I knew that AMC was likely to run because of GameStop. And so I immediately went on the market and bought far out of the money, like, I forget what they were, $10, $11 calls for that week or next week. I forget the date, and I'd have to go pull them back up, the orders. But that was my protection because I knew that AMC was likely to run, just like you're asking, with GameStop, and it did. And so I had bought shares cheap. I had sold covered calls. I made premium on that. My shares got called away. I made money on that. And then I had the call options, which hit. I chose my strike price carefully, and I made over 1,000% on those alone, plus the premium I made from selling options and the shares. There are opportunities to make money in stocks like this if you are approaching it maturely, no emotion, let social media go. Get in a room with people who are really doing analysis, not hype. We were having pre-market meetings in the Discord every fucking day, analyzing every shred of news, every tick on the chart, and people made a lot of money. There were literally, was working with people that in that time frame recovered 5 to 6 figure losses on AMC. Between the ape arbitrage and then playing that next little squeeze or FOMO run up, whatever you want to call it, in May of 2024. Michael, all I can say about Milton/Todd Alt is dig deep. He's a lender. He's not just directors of these companies. He's got many different ventures. He's got media companies where he promotes these stocks. You could be watching someone who is paid for by him to promote the stock. Why do you think he wanted me to come to his little thing in Vegas? Ding, ding. I said no. Baby says, I'm guessing Adam might exercise some or most of the Hycroft warrants Q2 to scrape by. I would be shocked, baby, if they don't do it in Q1. I mean, if I was Hycroft, I'd be selling shares right now. And if I was AMC, I'd be locking in $38 million. What the hell are they waiting for? He could have possibly lent money to you. You would need to do a lot of digging to figure out do they have debt? Do they have convertible notes? Do they have warrants? Those are all things to look into. Who did those get sold to? You need to go look at the filings. You need to look at when the notes or the warrants were created, any prospectus that might list who the majority owners of those are. Sometimes a voting document like a proxy will disclose that little tidbit. There's all these little tricks to figure this stuff out. But he could very well be not only a director of the company, but a lender to the company through one of his subsidiaries and a promoter of the company through his media outlets, podcasts, YouTubers, blah, blah, blah. I don't know, but it's worth digging into. And I have seen it in other tickers. I don't know about this one. All right. Well, good chat tonight. Good luck to GameStop investors. I remain long. I remain bullish. I get it. The meltdowners hate me because I'm sharing some news about an insider buy, but insider buys are bullish and it's news, and we're going to talk about it. I own the stock. I'm long the stock. I'm not promising you're going to be a millionaire. I'm not promising you it's going to $500. I don't know. I'm in this for either a volatility swing trade or for news that Ryan Cohen found somewhere to spend $8.8 billion. And if it takes him a couple years, that's fine with me. I'm not in the red in my position. And it's not the only ticker that I own. And it's a very small percentage of my overall portfolio. That's how I roll. I want you to have a responsibly diversified portfolio of different tickers, different companies, and different industries. Manage your risk. And let's beat these indexes and beat these funds together, not only with good blue chip value plays that we identify that are inexpensive in the moment, like that Intel ticker we talked about earlier in this live stream where we called it out to you in 2024 at $19, $54 today. Relatively safe play compared to something like an AMC or GameStop. Kind of boring to wait a year and a half for a stock to go to from 19 to 54. So I don't talk about it every day, but talk about it at that time. We sure did. Join the Discord. Come hang out with us. It is free if you want to just come kick the tires and look around. There are some paid levels if you really want further access to all the buy the ticker rooms. I don't promote the Discord. I'm not even going to tell you how to find it, but maybe somebody in the chat will. I don't want to be I'm not here to promote a Discord, but it is available to you if you're looking for a group of like-minded, non-haters. We don't hate any ticker. I might not like Todd Alt, though. We're only looking for opportunities, and we are brutal in our analysis, wherever it leads us, bullish or bearish. And it's okay to have different opinions. This is not a meme, hype, Trump, all the nonsense you see in other Discords. It is real discussion. We have a couple fun rooms, but that fun stuff stays bucketized up there. The real work gets done down in the paid rooms. Thank you guys. Have a good night. We love you. Safe trading the rest of this week. Probably see me in the morning on a market open live. And let's go out on a good note with this green candle up, because that song always makes me smile.
A blue candle up, a red candle down. By the dip, gotta hold our ground. We've been waiting for so long. Hedges rain will soon be gone. A green candle up, a red candle down. By the dip, gotta hold our ground. Hedges gains are dead and gone. But the shorts we're going long. If you doubt it, sit and stare. If you love it, buy a share. A green candle up, a red candle down. By the dip, gotta hold our ground. We've been waiting for so long. Hedges rain will soon be gone. A green candle up, a red candle down. By the dip, gotta hold our ground. Hedges gains are dead and gone. But the shorts we're going long. If you doubt it, sit and stare. If you love it, buy a share. A green candle up, a red candle down. By the dip, gotta hold our ground. We've been waiting for so long. Heavy rain will soon be gone. A green candle up, a red candle down. By the dip, gotta hold our ground. Heavy gains are dead and gone. But the shorts we're going long. If you doubt it, sit and stare. If you love it, buy a share. Green candle up and red candle down. By the dip, gotta hold our ground. Hedges gains are dead and gone. Gamestop's rising, stone strong. If you doubt it, sit and stare. If you love it, show you care. A green candle up, a red candle down. By the dip, gotta hold our ground. We've been waiting for so long. Hedges rain will soon be gone. A green candle up, a red candle down. By the dip,